if you are Juma Bibri, now I'm say a Juma Parliament, D Fiada for the past 2-3 days. Ghana Fanana ne Amanona Ubia Kahwasem, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, LGBT, anti-LGBT bill, the 8th Parliament. Omudi Hujumedi a passe, then so entimi could do or Mampenin and not do him a mana assenti. Sir Bill Kroya Esamba Parliament during the 9th Parliament. Na a woman said most of the sponsors of the bill, the previous one, no, were man some Parliament bill, but then persons like Honorable Sam George, Reverend Toso, and others, Bejra, all from NDC, as well as quite a number of MPs, including myself, from minority side. And Yakaya Junibu say we will present the same bill 2021 Breno 8th Parliament in the year Juma, and so Entimi materialize it into a full law. Yebesa dia bebiu. Entino permit me na me ma background kakra se de be ya ye komodie no obi a otie bia no ebetimi edi akire e follow. Okay. Enti sponsors na make hono yesade this same bill by there was the need say ye be ne sir because Ghana mremo no if there is a bill a particular parliament ebe pass now president and to me assented into law for a reason the bill dies with the parliament. Okay. Until the old bill and the 8th Parliament, anyway. So there was a need for us to reintroduce this same bill in Parliament. And to echo through all the processes, Emma Parliament and our Speaker, Jitumu, say, Akwenya Daho, Parliament, Entimi Enye Huejuma. Enti Ejuma de Ye Bebre or Hona. Fortunately, every aspect of this bill, from the stakeholder engagements through committee reviews of the bill, I sat through every single stage of it. And many more can say, Billy, I did Jumeku be to say UN, US aid, legal aid, Shraj, money na ebemu. Because omo stakeholders are now omo interest wom ye ko edukrum with the Human Rights Committee ye ko dwendwene bail yi ho ye samba Fiesta Royal I wakra ha, that is the Constitutional Committee and Legal Committee of Parliament ye samba ye ba bedwendwene ho. Now in the course of all these two engagements something became very evident. Ebede di say bill dada no ensema wo ho doso. Okay. Ne senti sa wo behwa as at Friday. No, in fact as at Thursday and a second reading of the bill. Now nke was a share consideration which is the clause by clause consideration of the LGBTI bill. Okay. Now according to leader of government business, Honorable Ayaga, they were expecting certain amendments be into yebe postpone. Na ifiada ena esanbaso. It was a surprise to me, and the speed with which Sir Bill the past year so no was a surprise to me. Now, ohwe dwumedia ekoso ifiada no any the current state of the bill as passed by the 9th Parliament. Utimi who say this is a completely different bill from the young as sponsors of the 9th Parliament you presented to Parliament. The decline. There have been 31 amendments to this short bill. The previous one was 19 clauses. So 19 clauses and one and I reintroduce the comma parliament. Na say out of 19 clauses, no, there have been 31 amendments. Let's just say, can a bill no media minyansemo as a legal practitioner no. Let's just say ni na entwa yi no.
Right, but when the yes amendment and more sponsor bill na here for.
You see, medical can say in the passage of law no, you do baby emrano emma stakeholders akwenya mo mobem. Let me give an example. Yeah, legal education bill. We met lecturers from the Ghana School of Law. It's here deans of the Ghana of the law schools. So what I say? Not just that, the Attorney General also looked at it and signed a parliament. Emrano at the end of the day, Osha, you say Emrano, amana ba betnetne, ana amana ba behwe, send ye ya sitinemu, e wase enyama si kwa, ebebwa na ubia hobetono. So what I say? And at the end of the day, ubia obe use mrano, ubia emrano ebe affecting biano, ewa akwenya. Say obeba parliament ana ode ne concerns ebefa a particular channel ediaba for them to be considered. So a lot of these amendments, came from all over.
Okay.
All over, from a lot of places, and a free buy. Now, as I have said, on the Friday, and ye were krata ye di juma parliament, which we call the order paper. And say bill be what the various amendments or the program for a particular day. Ni na be wum. And who said there are 31 new amendments to various aspects of the original bill as presented. Now, the 31 amendments, ni na emubie ni hwa ha as Domkuma and our minority say the famous clause 9.
Okay.
So what you see. Now I have a copy of the bill as reintroduced in Parliament. Ewa hasi. Now we hear clause 9 na. Nipa ni bisi enone bill we ni engine. Na just say edwuma kese pa se sa bill ya eka LGBT ho asem no eye no ho ne gina.
Okay.
So what you see.
Clause 9 no.
Clause 9 no. Na just say asotwe bi beba o se ebe kire se obi atomra ana ontomra ho ne gina. Now we share the heading of clause 9 now. It talks about it prohibits propaganda, promotion, advocacy, etc. of activities that are considered illegal under this law. So what I say. And to share the clause 9, subclause 2 in particular, it says whoever engages in certain conduct, then it follows with a sentencing regime. Ultimately say sentencing regime eyepa. Or say wasotwe ebeye not less than 5 years, not more than 10 years.
Okay.
That is say who promote any of these activities emrano can say yempne so ewo Ghana na asotwe abinyano no. Whether we a radio station, whether we a NGO, whether we are an individual, whether we are an institution, what should I do? Emrano prohibite san now. But then we share the famous clause 9. Ebe fiadana. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 subclauses, and all these subclauses talk about legal advice, legal representation, etc., academic, scientific or medical opinion, the dissemination of information. Say momuju media kamudi say ye. A friend is saying provision of medical, surgical, psychological counseling services in accordance with accepted professional practice. Reporting of news, current affairs by journalists, and performance of public health functions, including HIV/AIDS prevention, testing, treatment, etc. Say nipa edi sa dwumadie ni na no. The new clause 9 no are exempted. So what you see? In the first place, the first part of the clause 9, they say, wa wobe from sa emrawe by promoting, by advocating, etc. No, watumra. Then the new amendment says that watumra mumdie, but a first sub clause is here. It did the Swede. Wamodie wamonka. So what you see? Now, in our opinion, it defeats the very essence, the very purpose for which Sam Rawi, ama ababe bo Ghana, yang kasa yemma hobai. In the sense that, in the course of deliberations, discussions, during the consideration of the old clauses, it came to light. Say, enyumakuo bi wa manone, some individuals wa manone, mudi sikaba ebe sponsor say dwumadie ya yesi ye pass law ye de abrei. So then if you turn around to say that say no person shall promote or support any act prohibited under this act, etc. Now we now say one more exemptions, and you have a clause like this, that the provision of medical, surgical, psychological, or counseling services in accordance with accepted professional practice. For accepted professional practice, doctors have an oath. Obi yare no ba obehwe no. Okay. So nipa no ba na osebua no. Na the very act, the very conduct emre yesi edisi ho kwan no. Osi yemana. This law gives you an exemption. Into bet me ayamano. So what you see again, if you look at your friend is saying publication of academic, scientific, or medical opinion. If you remember, some aspect of LGBTI found its way into some of our GES books.
Yes.
This law is saying that that would be exempt. That is not right. Again, look at G. The performance of public health functions, including HIV, AIDS prevention, testing, treatment, and care. What is care? It is so ambiguous. Say care, no care is your last word, no, and no any the answer. Say, your friend is saying, public health officials aba no more check condoms. Na omuche lubricants aka ho said ye beya mema ne mema betimi ada no. Is that what they mean by care, or does that amount to care? Inti care no is very vague, and all that we are saying is that these clauses, including other clauses and other amendments, are a share the 31 amendments na ebaye no. It has weakened this law. Amamra no tumia e wo se emra no kura na edidi ni dwumadie said ye beya bone etise ya esi ano kwan no ye betimi esi ano no, particularly the clause 9 no amana yemre. So what you see
me too pa
na this is a very, very sensitive subject matter, particularly sa oba Ghana ha ye nuanom muslimifo Christopher nananom ubia twen sa mrei ye nanu ye nim se ye bane aba be pass mrei na ye de abo ye ho ene ye ma ene ye unborn children ho bai, because we are aware, say as we sit here today, there are individuals, there are groups, very rich people, very rich organizations womo say ye man secondary schools womo di sika dada womo. So what you see enti no if you start off with a very, very beautiful clause, culture law no, in such a way that Emma ubia intimi endurable past emrano. Now what turn it down see ya. And then I've received videos. Ba ko ya nkasa ya man panyini John Mahama video UK amanone. Now the second one so a Speaker of Parliament. Speaker of Parliament say the speed with which you de pass mra no kura no ono ni hu dwiri no. If we say the instructions and ankra wodi jaye ne say yenye consideration wa ankase yem pass. Nti as we speak now, according to the video me hwe na asempafo interview no today, just today, no, he has summoned the leadership of Parliament. Say omumra na enwumre ya omumetenase. Omumetenase na omunhwe kwan ya emra no ye de be adwuma. If you listen to what he said, o say enye de hia ene say ye be pass emra no. But I was here making sure say emra na ye pass no so no. Ebetimi aye na adwuma yie. And this vindicates the minority. I have so much respect for the Speaker of Parliament. He's been in that house since for over 30 years. He knows what a bad law is. I don't think he pass you no. On ka say ne yen kan ho ne mfa nkoma Yewura Mahama no sign. Na me also I know that the president has good people around him. I'm sure. So man can actually say bibi wom because when a bill is passed by Parliament, particularly when it is a private member's bill. Wouldn't mean ka say emrano ba what they call Council of State. Normal the normal change no. It is a private member's bill. You either sign it or you refuse to sign. If you don't want to assent it, you send it back to Parliament. So here. But for the president to say that he's got options, he's got his counsel, there's the Attorney General, because he is not one of the sponsors of the bill, or Mobeman advice. In the alternative, Obetimi so Ediama, your friend is saying, the Council of State, who are advisors to the president for them to advise him. They can only advise you to sign or not to sign, but you cannot change it. I also heard the president talking about quorum not being formed. But the bill has been passed.
But I know a family so.
It's been passed. The bill has been passed. And you know, because young form quorum to one sign. Is that what it is? That is why I'm saying that the bill has been passed.
Right.
Parliament really Jumedi.
Mami Smani and Samoa. Mampayi John Dramani Mahama Okaye and now UK FAB ya Ekaho Asemina Yemrasisia.
And so, like I said, when I was the opposition leader, the president has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent. And so, once the president gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the attorney general would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the president is advised to assent. The president has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the president, and so they will take a look at it, and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
Right. Minim Nekasa Wakaye, the Wahua, Mfunso. Was say your Council of State members. One lawyer paying the Attorney General. A bammer Samoa, Attorney General be 24. enti ɛsɛ ɛfa mu nyinaa nsɛm no ɔmuhwɛm ɔmuhwɛm na bibia kama na ɛsɛ wasɛnte a wɔbɛn asɛnte ba na wo kyerɛ sɛ ɔmu ne ho kwan so metumi asesa bibia wo.
This is a private members bill. Individual MPs and aba together and yes emra ye pesi yeshedi. But in the wisdom of mpanyinfo mo hye Ghana mra no almost mrebi ebeshibiano it has to go to parliament. And you know it has gone through every aspect of emrano send you see hwehwem say emfa expenditure emre government anyway and edru say e was say ye the review of the clauses yakoye aba there's been reading now consideration of the bills. So what you see, if indeed the Council of State, the President's lawyer, and the Attorney General, if Senkomo Pesomuye changes beer, they had every right. In fact, when we met at Fiesta Royal, Mr. Ayeni was there, and Honorable Attorney General was there. He's my senior. He taught me in law school, and I respect him very much. And you know, it is too late in the day to say that Odekwama Attorney General. On several occasions, the bill went to the Attorney General's department. Even when we went to Fiesta, he is aware of the content of the bill. Inti Odekwama no why the way you be a free and now Odibi beka hon. After Parliament, an entire arm of government has sat through after we have passed this bill. What they consider why anything? And I do my yeah.
But the one pair num sisi no. Over pese mampanyi be asenti we ya send it ya. Because it seems a promote.
Left to me alone. The new clause 9 as introduced, the Beye Frimo. And the reason why I'm saying say Beye Frimo, and you see, this is not an afterthought. Anybody who pays particular attention to proceedings in Parliament would bear me out that when it got to this stage, I spoke against it. Again, if you look at the very last amendment, there is an amendment which safeguards the services, the functions, the duties of anybody. E was a udi jumadie bi e was a udi. Now ubedi numra kwan so no. There's a clause that safeguards you, which says it is titled Institutions Engaged in the Provision of Services and Support. And it says, nothing in this act shall prevent or limit the lawful duties or functions of an institution. This is omnibus, a kaval bia. It is very, very elaborate, even though it's a 2-line clause. And for that reason, you don't need clause 9. Because sawusi wo di dwumadi na adwenpa na wo di dwumadi no na wonim se wonye bibi entia de sese Ghana fo se yempe na mensuro we bon ho ban. Why do you then need separate clauses to say that health experts subetimi aye na adwuma, journalists subetimi aye na adwuma, doctors subetimi aye na adwuma? The last amendment here is saying that muni na mubetimi aye mo adwuma sa adwempa na mudi numra kwan so nko ade amamu nsuro abom ho ban dada.
Sa nsemtoni report wo LGBTQ+ ho a adenti na uhu ni se se emra no timi twina so.
No, emra we are the pa entwe so. Wo fum emra no nko a na betwe so. So the last introduction that I just read was said nothing in this act shall prevent or limit the lawful duties or functions of an institution. And now let us continue with the example of the journalist. Journalists who reported about LGBT journalism emra, particularly LGBTQ emra, won form. And by so saying, I mean that over reported over investigation where you have to, whoever you have to contact, then you report to Ghanaians or the world as it is. But what the law is fighting against, and say ubenya akwenya abetina microphone yenim. Now ubechile say yes. Sam radio. Say wudi be a bebe 14 dia. The ope be a utimiye. So person only oba nantia and then nanti person only bema nantia and the bema. That is what the law is speaking against. Inti journalist ubeye wajuma. Emrano ni wuni problem. Doctor ubeye wajuma. Even to the extent that when obia ebia waye juma di ebi pen wo bika juma di ebi a what you say or obia owomu oye oba wonchen a ubehwe no ordinary how be ba ubehwe no.
Yes.
So what you say. But where there are provisions in here, actually said doctor wouldn't me enka say obua obi emana change from Bema to Oba. Where doctor no unim die any ujumedi a wo wode be say obe bua obi emana perfect the conduct in any of those categories, whether lesbianism, whether gay, whether whatever ya listed, it comes with a very, very tall list. Any of them, no, and no dear, emrano, the where you know, ujumedi as doctor no, beton cheni achimwaso. So lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, queer, or nina. The beton chain and I think that it was so encompassing, so comprehensive. Just say now it was just fit for purpose. Say airborne service providers and institutions who buying, and there wasn't the need for this introduction. And you see, some of us would raise concerns because yet in Sempa, we know how some organizations were pushing for the sentencing regime to be changed. Osha Emrana, I say, we are Mizimina, we are the only time the clause 9(2), which says that 5 years,
not more than 10
not
years.
more than 10 years. Yes, and some people were pushing for it to be watered down. So what you say? In the same way, we are aware that those who have been bringing money down to Ghana to sponsor all these activities, normal pussy, that we will have clauses like clause 9, so that they can hide behind clause 9 to continue to do what they've been doing to promote these activities.
And your music comedy band can who be na ye sa sanctions on every moon.
I believe so. So obi wo hwa o breusika o se me breusika na wetimi ato paracetamol anom na sika no wo beje so dia ene wo mo di sa adwumadie wo mo bana wo mo hia mo aboa wo mo, which is wrong. It is wrong.
And then a beba ombo amadwene say sa sanctions no wo be ye free knowing very well say enye de mo mutintim ye say aban no inside.
You see, my mention idea. Parliament jumedie mo no. That is the way it should go. Say you introduce the bill, but then it drew clause by clause consideration. Why would you say sentence in nature? Why would you say doso? Why would you say yenyi be free? Why would you say yemfe bin kan ho bia no? Parliament ma okwan e ma wo sori gina bi kura beka say the particular clause no yense no, you give another rendition said yenye ni say mum ye beto so aba na nipa dodo na e wo parliament ne say yemfa nya adwuma ye de be adwuma. But what we are saying ne say in this instance, the majority, they have used their numbers. Utie afenyo last words before Friday upon yena. Omo di omo numbers. Ena ashemra a close 9 yiwo mu a. Yen dom kuma enye se ye ka se emra no ye me enhye o. But ye se emra no enya de beboa Ghana ene Ghana dachi.
Because invite.
No, invite and a big loophole has been created.
But
within the clause 9.
We are reading no more register our concerns no.
Erezi.
But no more numbers in tie o fimo.
Say obe kire wadwene so yemfa. Sa na akoye.
What the answer be can be keke. So ahin ye drew. Baby ye drew no yentimi nye bibia amfa ho apart from say mampanyi bi asente ada.
And America say ene Speaker of Parliament enso akasa. Media mehwe wo asempa. Na ne kasa o kani na ne say one on my instruction say yenye consideration one kasa yen pass bill.
Consideration ye den.
Say ye dwendwene ho say clause we ehia yemfa bi nkan yenyi bi firim. Each single clause ye bedwene ho. And sometimes it takes a while. Ebi o ha bi a bebe na watwe ni enwie. Bi o ha bi a be 3 weeks. Ebi o ha clauses no bi a the doso say legal education bill say na doso. And I remember that we took more than 2 weeks to deal with that. And for now, I am not too sure what the Speaker of Parliament intends to do. Now, uti onwa kura ne kasemua. Okay, say wafre leadership of Parliament. Na omo ba omo bedwendwene ho na adwene be kire de omo beye. Entina I also believe that enyadia ekwa akoye ononkwani decision to impose anything on the leadership or on Parliament. But once he has come out to say that omo ba ama omadwene ho no, at the end of the day, I believe some concessions will be made. But as I said here, mean to mean, say NBC and I say NC.
Obi titi obeka say MPP abana na etia kunwa so na mo opportunity say bill no koya me pass ye akase mampanyi na do ba asente wantimi asente enti so ma pass ya munya didi so obi ka say obefa ne sen
yo the obeka say bia no the meka kire ne say as parliamentarians I said ye say emre bia ye be pass no e wo say itimi som Ghana ye say bosome so na ye ji aketua na me as member of Parliament for Dotobri man hwe say emra ye pass no e bia jakubufo ana rentimase fo ana say e bia aboabofo serve omu ye na ma nyema dwuma yi so what you say enti no for that reason me can tell nipa ne say on take a break kakra during the last 8 years and as me can say during Nanado's tenure a similar bill was passed, not the same bill for the purpose of preventing such activities in you know make us say similar. But you see, bill in by Sankaya dia body be anywhere. Sankaya nya 31 amendments. Just for the fact that there are 31 amendments. And you see, I can give you so many examples from the bill. Right from clause 1, we made amendments. If you look at the clause 1 naturally say, if you hold yourself out, this act applies to a person who holds out as lesbian, gay, bisexual, etc. Nana kamera we kebe juma. If how do you determine, how do you identify someone who is holding out as gay? Is it when the person has an earring? Is it when I wear my wife's clothing? Is it when my pants or my trousers are sagging? Because you see, we can never identify who is lesbian, who is gay, when people step out from their homes and they are on the streets. And we can also not go and monitor the omoya with them. So this holds out. It was amended, and let me tell you, it was changed to identifies. So the person will have to identify himself as, if you identify as a gay or as a lesbian, which makes more sense, which would make at the end of the day, say you'll be a kojina court, not who holds out as. No. And you know, even from clause 1, we corrected from clause 1 all the way up to the end. And you know, say MPP are buying ananado assenti bail at the time. You see, just as President Mahama is going to consult his lawyers, Unjini and anado your consulting and might have found out, say no, this bill has to go back, or this bill is not a bill which would serve the interests of Ghanaians as it is intended to do. So what I say, there are good reasons, so many good reasons for which that bill was not assented to at the time. Because me can send be Parliament Friday. Me say, in doing this exercise as parliamentarians, I was here and say, I was say, you making sure say. Yem pass mrana ye ya no bia ko Supreme Court no wakotwa mrana mu nyina. It will be an embarrassment to Parliament. It will be an embarrassment. It would be amount to waste of state resources. Air condition kwa ye so Parliament ye adwuma wonim electricity bill betua na ye kotra se ne ye se ye ko semra ye nko semra beboa Ghana.
Right, quickly, young share achichira. We are mranim ni de young ni san komo no so kakra. Achichira ban by wo chichira amamfo a kwanya ye de nkrofo no faso. Ye detain you mo bi wa 2 weeks, e bi wa 1 week na ni panda so e wo aban kukum. E di asemo a ye say ye mpese e be ma ni be amanako. E bi wo kra bail condition no e din kra se ni panda betimi emiti bail condition no. E den na mranika sa ye ma obe no e asotwe ka police for custody asotwe then amraneka.
You see, a bad bailer, it is right. Emrano free tete. 107.3. A judge from all levels. Akanwasem Emma in Ghana dear. Ubiye nimse Emrani say bail should never be used as a punishment. The only thing they say, Nipano or a suspect. And we all know, say, Embranum Riasia Fanani Nazono, Embrane say, Nipano, we should assume, say, on your guilty until, say, a court of competent jurisdiction. Ebeka say, oh, either say you pierce a trial, and I say, judge at Nasi, or tear evidence, what we be web wow for, and sana, Yebeka say, we are guilty. So what I say, and you know, say ye did bail a chini person. It is wrong. That is not the time for punishment. It didn't pala same year ne punishment beba. And you know, obera embrana kasanyan semono. Or say we look at certain critical matters. Nipe yema ubela ube saba amiaba bidiwasem. Eya dia ubenya men of substance and nipa umbetimi abeta wachi say omoye wo surety na wamba ya folly on omo so omo nko wo emfamra eyade a ejai wo sekwa wonko interfere with investigations dada eyade a ejai wo sekwa wo ankasa no wo beba abeboa court no ama court no ahwehwe wo nsemu. So there are several other factors so for any agency or for the police to say me bail or the bail condition no so high na nipa nintuan, it also amounts to using bail as a punishment for a suspect. Woman na ya suspects obi any wa ye di na sem a convict no and wa be sentence no. And I think that as a nation we have to look at sa aspect in the year very 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 well, because emwa ema amemwo no entimi nko yie. Won say the democratic dispensation aye wo mu no ye wo aban a wote akonwa so obu mai ene ye wo opposition. Now opposition ye dwumadie ene se ye be criticize constructively. Bibi wo ho aye beka enya wo de, bibi wo ho aye beka na ete oto, bibi wo ho aye beka na enokre, but na egu anim ase, but na no nkyere se o de abufuo ana o de yaw na de obi aka no wo twe na so. Ewom say there is a freedom of speech, but freedom of speech no so there was a tia say it is not absolute, and this is freedom of speech wo enti me sori a menya tesi me du siase me ba na me ka de be pebia there be. There are national security matters untimi nkan ho asem, there are matters that would amount to defamation untimi nkan ho asem. There are several other issues. Broni beka say wo can be they are incite obi and how they show obi kutupa. So what you say ama nipa na kwa akodi boni, all those matters no there. Even though your freedom of speech you can't go there. So what you say, but say uti radio so wakwa sorry ana one wo PS wa yonkufo asia na wo kire wadwene de eno de minji ni se emra bia wo Ghana ha, to the best of my knowledge esi obi ho kwan so obeye sa. So what you say
Mausa Edom Kumana petition Chief Justice Senke beya judge ni a wotena bronye case no so no asutwe bi ho a ye ntwe na so the judge ne kan nyina ne say wo jaya bronya asem wo kan no be se akoka bio enti wonka police custody till so mbedi asem no awie famra kwan so
eno de minjindi se famra kwan so minjindi if say obey interfere with police investigation or investigations that is ongoing in respect of the matter, yes, you can be detained. So what I say, but say me jawa obesa kwa ko kabio ntimi njawo ma onko de eno de menyan TB
yeah, you know nyan TB no
say assuming say you are charged with robbery or there any of the offenses na oba me say me jawa ba ko ye bio ntimi ma onko. If that amounts to interfering with investigations, fine. But say if it cannot be linked to any interference, na in your mind, uji say bonena roba kusanko di biwa. Yeah, what was it? We are seeing it na Ghana na yetino. We nimreni, we na sunchweni, we nimreni. And you know, if you look in our books, if you look at our laws, decided cases, anyone the procedure and na ho asotwe ni ho. And you know say obesa wo ka biwa. Yes, we will put you before another court or we will arraign you again for similar offense. But not to say that me nya ma on koda wo kwa obesa kwa ka biwa.
Judicial system under John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. So far, it was saying.
I think that it is too early, in my opinion, to do a thorough assessment of the judiciary. Reason being that your case is a court, no, yeah, a chepa. Unfortunately, your system, no, sana akwa. The government has been in power for 1.5 years. Most legal battles 1.5 years now embarrassing. And for me to sit here to assess obia ya point within 1.5 years and now say obia within 1.5 years odi ni dwumadi as a judge, I think that to an extent may fair to the judiciary. But I have believe in the judiciary. I trust the judiciary. There are precedents, Ghanaians, ebio or many or maybe or mason, and I'm aware that judiciary no enim say Ghana for endai. And I hope that whenever I sit here and I want to assess them, I can do a good assessment of the judiciary and the assessment, the way I base I expect a bekoye.
Right, all represent Yamam Fubinum, Omana Suma, Omayim Rashu Jafi, young assessment of the government, about governance, a mamu, Wamam for say, a mamuni Kosai.
Caneno now be sad, and can say it was too early in the day to assess the government. Meji say honeymoon no echem. You do 1.5 years. Cut 2.5 years near San Kwa Batuoso. Me come in Pesua, complaints no doso. The last time I may take complaint free obiho, I have a Muslim friend. Na the Okan say, lawyer, sala idea. The more day, I want you to know too much. And I'm saying, I want you to know what I say. I say, Sika omudi bedi sala, ebini ho. Na kane no nente sa. And I'm saying, sa. And I may be say, ebi a won't wow, ebi a wouldn't run more acadie. Or mono a yama was it there be. And now, all catch them say, or no, or ye cremoni. Na the now for na a NDC for. Na otiomwa, ya no muji se, or no so a NDC ni. Intino, or more kasa, or mutimi, eka or mobuso asem, no crene woman. Example of the man say, and I'm not saying say it is the truth. Example of the man say, so I would say, it is say, send ye a friend say, we are can near Ubia just say we MPP no. Entino sa no so ti wo mumwa wonya information. Entino no kurani eniama edin e bompae se niama betimi asesa. The promise John Dramani Mahama ene nabai omo ye even concerning Galamsey boss omo share I am from a mining community.
Okay.
Me sha se me wura me constituency pe utwa e friend sen anwan kwanta bridge dada no ensuo nani ahono se mechi wall ye wo mechi se ne ezitie. I thought that promises were made. Say ban by bejai. Galam say it's ongoing. Ensuo ne say forest na asefo amanfo wom ensase ne so say ensase de enim say I friends nyame won say mobi nka ho ne ye say nunu yi enchirimade na on be use so what you say look at fuel enche fuel makan say be cost by 20%.
Yeah.
Fuel cost even kwadu kura yetum
Because our cascade
dokro yetum bibia yetum first are going to go up so what you say entino I think that John Dramani Mahama has to go back to the drawing table. Na a boshe ni biya or the share Ghana for no. One san review, one quadachi, no review. Send ye beya or babiwa, and Niama ebetimi akwoye, and I said Niama ebeyemre. Amano. So
almost microeconomic indicators in Ashu Green. And then you know ye.
Well say question dey na me wa sorry. Me say dollar come from the emede. Na me a lawyer. Me old school na dey na me peda me nsa anti ase e math, science and economics. Enti no oho no me nti ase me pesa finance minister be kire me mu. Identity na dollar come from. Na all the indicators see a green. Na so aho kire wo ho. Na chese bibi nkoyi na chese ebia why shortcut bi ekurekura niam bim in any event he's not spending He is not spending. No ministry has money to do anything. As I'm part of make a chill.
Sika nko ministries no.
Sika nko baby ya. Into a muntu minya adwuma. Wa muntu minya adwuma. Wahu.
Enti on spending into I say bibia ye na.
That is one factor. Me cons enye kura and me de minim say eno no. That's one factor. Because if we begin to spend, okay, if the ministries begin to import, they begin to build, they begin to engage contractors, road ministry begins to pay contractors, I'm telling you. And for now, no, as I've said, I'm not an economist, but okurekura de nemu din. One man in 29. So what you say? But under normal circumstances, ordinarily, I was say adeno or no awo to 29 echo.
Man sing I'm say e battle on peswaso. And then I'm akona edin.
Ekona edin because abanye ready so obeko. It's as simple as that. Abanye ready so.
Political one in ho.
Onye ready so obeko.
But so introduce you Naimus.
107.3.
I don't know monko ye adwuma. Are you ready? Because the vim, the zeal, the enthusiasm with which we can't galamse who sempa. Naminim say endi busumi mienu. Nothing has changed. It's even worse now. Worse.
Only the din say Gani bit me akon.
There be on person obekun. Yes, Eddie.
O ka so on person obekun how?
Me say on person obekun based on the very words that womo AUC and san or maba. The way easy, just declare state of emergency within 1 week. You can do this within this. You can. Omaba no munye. Anybody who tells you that galamsey abafom and galamsey yetwem and abino has done a good job in terms of galamsey will be lying to you. Even Kumasi Accra Road. I drove to Kumasi on Friday. There is a new bypass, meaning somewhere in the eastern region. I'll be making right. Now Wasaba BC after Injurisi. Broad daylight. Uche mo yejuma. National security for and intelligence the omompe. Everybody is aware. They know what is going on. And until I may say, Abayane ye ready. So obey. Why ye ready? He has the means. So be kono flash you out.
Right, any few common yenya wakra na timi koda. Is MPP on course?
Very much. As an opposition party now, Ejumediya EOCAD is very simple. Mebono tofa. Dear Ewose yetimi emagana for etiasie a yegusu aye ne say we are a better alternative and that we are ready to take over the mantle and steer Ghana in the direction better than what is currently going on. And you know, say, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia video, wabra ye call ye 2-day retreat, no?
Yes.
Ewo Accra City Hotel na. He said it that and no Ghana for they are not looking for an opposition party keke. Take you over. They are looking for an opposition party. Watch say why you ready? Because dear intra, here your prime minister we have our flag bearer. When you went to na every ho, we are always suggesting better alternatives when it comes to policies. So what I say? So the discerning Ghanaian knows that after 1.5 years, I think that if we should bring the MPP back, there will be a better alternative. And I know that come 2028, and one NDC.